Okay, in this video we're just going to have a look at creating this plan view, this site plan view technical drawing using a model that we created in SketchUp and using the program Layout to produce it. So there's quite a bit involved in breaking down how to get this view exactly as it is on these plans. So let's have a look at some of the steps involved. So first of all, I'm just going to go to my SketchUp model and we'll just point out a couple of things here. I've started creating some scenes across the top. So in our default tray, scenes is one of the options here. So you can go down here and hit add and that'll create a scene along the top. Now I've right clicked and renamed this one ISO view, and then means whenever I transition from one of my other scenes back to this one, you can sort of just bounce back and forth and you can apply different styles to different scenes. So it's not bad just to have this as a starting point. Now as you can see here, this scene I've created and I've called it site plan, and what I've done is I've tried to, I've applied a style to it first that looks a little bit like the drawing that we're creating, and that style, if we look at it over here, is let me just go back to here. It's in the ambient occlusion range and it's this one here called details. So I've just found that one worked right for me. You might find a better one, but that's what I've gone with. Now once I've applied that style to it, the next thing I've had to do here, and I'll just tilt or orbit this, you can see I have hidden a lot of the tags on this particular model. So if I just, let me see, change it back to something that we can see maybe a bit of color in it. Alright, then I will start to bring back my tags just so you can see, you know, like your model would look like. It would have everything there. So what I've done is paired it right back. So I'll just click off this scene, back to my ISO and back to this one. Because I didn't hit update there, I can get back to exactly how it was. Now, so you need to hide your tags to show the details that appear on this drawing. Now, a couple of details I've added in. This little dotted line here and this one here did not appear on my drawing. Were not originally in my CAD model. So what I did is I created them based on the measurements. I think it was a 1 meter border around here, and then I put them on a tag in here called dotted lines, so it allows me to turn them on and off. So those were two elements that were missing, so I just created them using the rectangle tool. Now with this one down here, if I zoom in, you'll notice that I've just made this rectangle sit slightly inside of this one, ever so slightly on both of those edges, maybe 10 mil. And that is because if we look at our technical drawing, we can see those dotted lines along that edge. It's not over the top of that line. Alright, so there's one little tip as well. Now, I haven't worried about the car in my SketchUp model because I can bring them in layout. So, I guess that's one of the first challenges, is removing your tags and trying to end up with something that looks a little bit like what I've got in front of me here. Okay, and once you've got that, then we can send this view to layout. Okay, so now I happen to have layout open, and up the top here I'm just going to go, so this is my example that I've put together that we're going to sort of work through. And you can see everything's come together. There's just maybe a few bits of text missing off the that I can add at some point. I've filled out my details in here, and it's looking pretty much like this one here. Trees are a slightly different shape, but I'm okay with that. I've got my 2 dimensions down the sides, and when I look at my layout, I've got them there as well. I've got my street drawn in, my driveway drawn in, and things like that as well. So this is kind of where we're hoping to get to. Now, as far as a title block and a template, which we'll look at in a sec, I might make another video on that or go through that in class with you. But with this example that I'm going to go through here, I'm going to leave this one I've done as something I can come back to. And up the top here, I'm going to go File, New, and I'm going to go to My Templates. Now this is something that I've recommended you do, is create a template that you can grab anytime. And now my template here just has my title block set out, and if I go to pages, it's got a series of pages like we're going to be producing. So at any time down the track I can open this template and all this stuff is set up for me. Now I've got this open and I'm going to go to SketchUp. Now I've created a scene called Test just for this video, and then I've followed that process I just talked about, removing or hiding the tags that I want to hide, basically ending up with something like this that takes up most of my screen, okay, my view. And then what I'm going to do is go File, Center Layout. We'll go Yes, Save My Model. Just give that a moment to get to layout. Here we are. Okay, so in layout, it's asking me to choose a template. So what I'll do is I'll do exactly what I just did a second ago and choose my template. Okay. Now, over here I've got my original drawing, and then over here I've got the template with the viewport that's been dropped to it. Now this one over here I'll just get rid of. Alright, so here's my view, alright, that we brought in. Just have a quick look at it, see if I'm happy with it. Bounce back to SketchUp for a sec. Okay, so I can see a few things have been cut off. See over here? So I'm not happy with that. So what I'm going to do is go zoom back out a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go Update. I'm going to go back into Layout and delete this one. And then I'm going to go back into SketchUp and just try that process again. File, Send to Layout. Now back in Layout, again it's asking me which do I want to use. I'll go to my template. And here we are, and once again I'll just delete that second one there. Alright, so I've got my original one and we've got the view we just brought in, and this time it is looking a little bit better. I can see my full border. Alright, so we can grab, move and position that around. Now one of the first things I want to do here is move this to the correct page. I can see it's gone onto the page here, number 10, and I want it to be onto site plan. So a couple of options I could try. I can move to layout, which is not what I want to do. I might actually just do this. Control C, or actually Control X, and then move up to site plan, Control V. Okay, now another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layer here, and I'm going to rename the new layer to be Viewport. And I'm going to drag that up to the top, and then I'm going to right click on this image, and I'm going to say move to layer viewport. Okay, so if I turn the viewport visibility on and off, you can see it's on that layer. Now, there's going to be a series of layers we create throughout just to keep our model a bit organized. So ones I can think of right now are dimensions. So I just go rename. And we'll add another one, trees. Oops, I just got to rename that. And another one, road. Okay. So, we've got our layers created. Now, you can lock layers, and we might do that a little bit throughout, just as if you want to prevent yourself moving things around, you can hit the lock and then you can always unlock it if you want. So, the next thing I'm going to do is look at scaling this particular viewport. Okay, so a couple of things just to check first of all, and that is our document settings. So document setup, so Windows document setup, and you should have decimal, millimeter, and precision to within 0.1 of a millimeter set. Alright, so I'm just going to close on that. Then over in my SketchUp model area within layout, I'm going to just have a look at a couple of settings. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to change it from raster to hybrid, and go OK. Then I'm going to go down to my scale here. Now I'm going to choose this one here. Whoops, that's a bit tiny. Let's have a look. Now the one I was looking for is this one down here, 1:200, 1 millimeter is to 200 millimeters. And that is because that is the scale that is mentioned on our drawing over here when we look at that view. So back into layout here, and this is looking about the size that I want. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is creating our dotted lines for this part here, for this part here, and there's also some dotted lines around the outside here. So if we have a look at these views, this is kind of what I'm talking about. These ones around the border, but we also have some around here, and here, and here. Okay, so that will be in our part 2 video.